What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the start of my journey into powder coating. I have never powder coated in my life. I've painted a lot of things, trailers, boats, parts, things like that, but always have been interested in powder coating, but never got into it, never learned how to do it, never had a system to do it with. The more you get into welding and projects and old cars and old boats and things like that, you'll find yourself needing to be able to coat parts that are rusted, parts that are raw that you just welded up, and you need to paint them in some way to keep them from rusting. Most of the time I would use, go to Home Depot, get some primer, either a rattle can or even use a spray gun, a quart of Rust-Oleum, something like that, and I would use that. Generally speaking, that's sufficient for most of what I wanted to do. However, it was frustrating. It's easily scratched, and of course, once it does scratch, it's easily rusted, or rust easily after that. That led me into some of the projects that I'm working on now, most notably the airboat. I wanted to find something that was a little bit, different, a little bit more durable than paint, and from what I understand, powder coat is where I need to be. So I started researching powder coating, and if you're doing the same thing, you probably notice that most people will start with one of the entry-level guns. There's at least two of them that come up in the conversation. The Harbor Freight gun and the Eastwood gun. Eastwood does have a kind of a newer or higher level gun as well. But I'm just talking about the two basic ones to start out with. Most of the people that talk about that gun will say it's a good gun to get started with. If you're just in your garage, you want to do a couple parts every once in a while, that's the gun to get. What I did notice, though, is most of the people that continue to powder coat more than just a few parts do seem to eventually take the next step into a better gun. Typically when I purchase things, I usually do purchase things in the quote-unquote the prosumer category. Not the cheapest stuff, not the most expensive stuff, but something that's maybe a little bit better than what I think that I will need. That's proven to be a good system for me anyways. Yes, you spend a little bit extra money, but you don't buy things twice. So that led me to start looking into alternatives for the entry-level guns, the Eastwood and the Harbor Freight. Again, nothing against those guns. I just wanted something that's a little bit that I could grow into. It's a little bit of a challenge to find the next step up. A lot of people will recommend what's called the Redline EZ50. And I think there's an EZ100. The EZ50 is, I believe, manufactured in India. I think it's $350 last time I checked. I was very, very close to getting that gun, but then wanted to start looking into, see what American-based companies sold equipment. And that led me to Columbia Coatings. So I don't know exactly sure. I'm guessing this gun here is manufactured in China, but I believe this system here is manufactured here in the US by Columbia Coatings. That's one of the things that were important to me for support, for parts, for anything like that. I wanted to be able to get a good response. Some of the other equipment, like maybe the Harbor Freight gun, if that breaks, it's a throwaway. The EZ50, I don't know where you get support. I think there's distributors. I'm here in Florida, and I think there's one over in Tampa. When those things break, I don't know how fixable it is. To be fair, I don't know how fixable this system is, but I believe in the support system that I'll have should be better. Prior to purchasing the system, I did contact the company, Columbia Coatings. They were very responsive. I think over the course of a couple weeks, I emailed them maybe 2 or 3 different questions. They were responsive, and that made me feel, even better about my decision. Almost purchased the EZ50, like I said, and then I started looking for, okay, what is the next cheapest, if you will, option? And Certainly I could be missing out some in my research, but this led me to the Hypersmooth Basic by Columbia Coatings. I say that, I don't actually know if it's by them or not, but they sell it, whatever. But this is a basic version of a system that they sell, and I'll try to indicate what the differences are here. So when you get into the next step of powder coating guns, the reason to take that next step is to get into multiple coats of powder. These systems have a little bit more power. It's kV, kilovolts, that you can use to more energize the powder, and so therefore it's more likely to stick on the part. Some of the lower end guns typically are good for one coating. That's one of the things that was important to me when investing in the system. So the long story short, this system was right at $500. It was $499. And what it comes with is this control unit here. It comes with that gun. And in this bag here, you've got a grounding strap, you've got the power cord, you've got a little powder canister here, and some tubing that goes from the powder canister to the gun. And it looks like some instructions. That's what you get when you order the system. I will start to use it. Like I mentioned before, I have zero experience in it. So this may be a good, if you're starting out as well, you can follow along and see my mistakes and hopefully learn from them. I do not have an earth ground. That's something that I've actually got a ground rod over there that I've had for a couple of years that I've never installed. I'm debating whether or not just to put it, excuse the mess here, but just outside that window, and every time I want to powder coat, which shouldn't be that frequently, I will just run the wire outside to that ground. The other option is what most people do if they're going to do it seriously is they'll drill a hole through the concrete and they will install it there, but that's probably the better way. When you order, they have a promotion right now that when you order over so many levels, you know, over $100, you get this gift and that sort of thing, or you can pick a gift. When you ordered over 500, there was a couple different options. I picked basically a plug kit. So these are all plugs that you can use to fill the holes. And you can see it's got the quantities, part numbers, things like that. So I thought this was something that was very nice to have. And you see most of the pros that do it, they always have plugs like that. A couple of the powders that I ordered, again, zero experience. I just kind of looked at the pretty pictures and said, wow, that looks good. I want to try some of that. I do have a tendency to lean towards some of the matte colors. So this is super matte green. I've got super matte black and super matte blue. So I wanted to kind of see how that worked. Obviously, a lot of people like the very glossy black, so I'll do some parts in some super durable wet black, and I've got super durable wet clear. So those are the colors that I ordered. I have no experience in any of them. I don't know if they're going to work good. The airboat is going to have kind of a green theme to it, and there's some parts that we want to do a very kind of a bright yet matte colored green. Maybe I'll throw some gloss over it as well. Who knows? I did order some tape. Again, don't know what sizes I need. I think this is a 2-inch and a 1-inch tape. So, you know, certainly I needed some tape. Let's take a look real quick at my oven. I got pretty lucky. I have a coworker at work that was remodeling his kitchen, and he was looking to get rid of the double oven that he had in there before. So I got 2 ovens. I threw just a little cheap Harbor Freight, you know, dolly underneath it. Probably not the best solution. A perfectly good oven for what I'm using it for. I kind of modified a rack. I found a rack on the side of the road. So that's going to work out perfectly. Just had to buy a plug for it. So I think I spent, I don't know, 10 bucks for the plug. So we are good to go there. Coincidentally, I did see, you know, on the side of the road already another oven. So keep your eye out. They're all over Craigslist, Facebook, you know, 100 bucks, 50 bucks. And you could offer them probably half and get it. So just real quick, some of the parts I wanted to do on the airboat. A lot of guys will do the intake runner up there. Also the valve covers. So you can see they're in pretty rough shape. So some parts like that, the starter brackets, the alternator brackets, magneto. If I can get this thing running, it would be really nice to have it, you know, look good as well. All right, well, hey, thanks for hanging in there, watching the video. So let me know below if you want to see more of this, if you want to see kind of the projects that I do. So this is kind of a new realm for me, and maybe some of you are here may be interested in this, but not my other videos. So just let me know if you want to see more of this. You know, the usual like, comment, subscribe, put a comment below. That definitely helps me out. But you know, I don't care if there's only a few people watching the videos, but I do want to make sure they get value out of it. So I don't want to just sit here and be boring to myself. Anyways, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. We'll catch you next time. Thanks.